My name is Madison, and I was raped when I was 14 years old. Thank you. I've spent the past 8 years trying to reconcile my relationships with men, sex, and myself through my poetry. The first poem that I'm reading, I wrote a week ago in anticipation of this event being on International Women's Day, a day where the world celebrates the achievements of women. Tonight I am celebrating a milestone in my own healing. Before writing this poem, I have never allowed myself to put specifics of where, who, and how my rape took place, because I struggled so much with the question of consent, and I hope that comes through in my poem. I was afraid that someone would put the pieces together before I had, and I didn't want everyone to have all the pieces, until now. Lake Marie, 2010. I've never allowed myself to put the names, the faces in my mind on paper. Wealthy junior high students from the starting in the low 600s neighborhood that were bussed in from beyond the vineyard and strawberry fields. On the same road, a teen driver, traveling 60 miles per hour, killed my brother's best friend. His parents drank expensive wine. My grandparents broke their backs berry picking. I felt privileged to be invited over to a place I often imagined 2 or 3 of my own house fitting inside of. After-school dates never went past sunset because Mom had a fear of driving in the darkness. I have never found my way back from his darkness. I grapple with what the meaning of consent must have meant to that girl you pinned down at her first party and tore apart, disguised as love, pushing me to believe that this is what girlfriends do. Years before Netflix and chill, I wore dresses to his house, providing easy access, pretending to watch horror movies, pathetic for not being able to scream as his fingers scratched up my insides. The abandoned clubhouse boasted netless cracked tennis courts, repurposed into weed gardens, adjacent to a mossy green pool, despite hefty homeowners' fees for maintenance. Instead, the building served as an excuse for us children to leave the watchful eyes of his mother and do the things that I can never stop seeing when I close my eyes. The walk to slaughter in the summer sun from his house to the stockpile mounds of development dirt was unbearable, stomach twisting as the fresh pavement gave way to dusty dirt roads that I could never remove from the soles of my sweaty shoes. On the back of my left ankle, there is a scar where a dead bush reached out to cut me, as he pulled me by the hand up and over clay hills into ditches where he would slide my shorts to my knees and force himself inside me. Only halfway, I protested, scared of being violated a second time by the eyes of an unsuspecting dog walker or field worker. The way you mixed fear with adrenaline made me dizzy, like the drinks I order at 11 a.m. as I contemplate if it's now a socially acceptable hour to drink whiskey alone, trying to rationalize that his touch was tender and that at 14 I must have believed him when he said, "I love you," before grabbing hold of my neck and forcing my mouth down. Last Friday, I went to visit our place. It rained while history repeated itself. Words of love, tattooed in my father's handwriting to protect me, did not stop my rib from aching in the space where Job killed Abner, where you held me down in the clay as I prayed for you to finish. The same white pit bulls that barked at our approach 8 years ago snarled at me. Nosy, bitter housewives peered through their windows at the shame crushing my chest. I dared one to confront me, with every intention of saying, "I was raped here. I know I was raped here." One day, a house will be built over the place I have recalled in therapy 1,000 times. A family will laugh together over dinner where my blood ran down into the earth, where who I could have been is buried beside the used condoms. And the second poem speaks to the present, illustrating the mental consequences that can be felt after sexual trauma occurs. Currently, sex is both cathartic and devastating to me, and I'm still trying to figure out how it can be both. The smell of wet earth through his bedroom window arouses my primal instinct of needing the warmth of other bodies pressed up against mine. He bites my lip for me as I imagine reaching my voice out to ask all of the questions he doesn't want to hear. His heart under my palm beats like the falling rain as my body rises up to meet his. But when you cover my mouth, it reminds me of all the times I wasn't able to speak about the boy who believed he was a man. Now I lick my lover's fingers and listen for his muffled moans, but the only thing I can taste is the saltiness of my own regret. Calloused hands remind me of the night that my heart hardened due to the repeated friction between my legs. Thank you.